G'day, my name's AndyLe'Crumpet, and this is Raised Ink Press. Today I'll be reading you a poem titled Poetry for the Yappaweppae. It's by Andrew Spencer. Now, this poem was written in 2013, living out that way, working with young Indigenous people that were made homeless because of the lead mine in Mount Isa and the increasingly extortionist rents that are paid out there, rendering the traditional owners essentially homeless and living in absolutely atrocious conditions that you would never see in Australia or could never believe occurred in Australia or in the first world anywhere. Now, the name Kalkadoon refers to the indigenous nations and peoples of the land that Mount Isa is now located upon. It's my understanding that there are very few Kalkadoon left, and just like to pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging out that way in the Kalkadoon lands, and I would like to acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded, and this poem is dedicated to the youth of Mount Isa. I've been to Kalkadoon and I've stared at the moon and I've noticed the contrast between white and black, and I've looked back over my shoulder and realized that I'm 1,000 kilometers older, because I've seen kids do things that have nothing to do with sin. I've seen good kids who've been left to feed themselves from a bin. I've known good kids who've held a can in their hand, thought fuck you to the man that they never understand, and then inhale the entire contents and drop into a seizure that's got nothing to do with Jesus. Now, the dictionary of the streets is defined by where we sleep, how we keep, and what ain't worn on our feet. Now, there are probably a lot of privileged white views and maybe even some privileged black views that are going to disagree with how we do what we do. So let me lay it down for you. I've been a brother, a father, a son, and a mother. I've been torn from the lives of the people who need life most. I've been called a sinner by the church and a liar by the law, all because I wasn't afraid to call out the score. And you want to know what that is? Well, Mount Isa has the highest rate of youth suicide in Queensland. I spent a year there and we cut 14 kids out of the trees. I get it. I understand. Now, I gotta say this before they cut me out of a tree, because this is the way it's gonna be, you see. I can help, believe you and me. 'Cause my girls be out there, pregnant before 16. My boys who be out there sniffing under that tree, that same tree that took half his family. They got no voice, trapped on an island, isolated on all sides by extreme heat, dry creeks, and distance. It's a different world anyway, a world you gotta live to understand, where going to school is bad and the reasons behind that are sad, and it builds up inside you and it makes you mad. But you know what? I'm glad. For Brandon and Jamie and Jesse and Naomi, and for the little one who blew off his thumb because he was sniffing petrol, evaporating the fumes over a candle. And I'm not your blood, though I wish I was, because then, and maybe just because, instead of falling on deaf ears, you could come down here and tell us for yourself, tell them for yourselves how it is, how this system, this game, it's all bullshit. This ain't the desert where you can draw with a stick in the sand. No, this is rock with lead in the land, where you can't drink the water because you get a brain disorder, and where the air fills with sulfur and it hurts to breathe, not when you get older, but any time as you grow up next to a lead mine, where it's 40 degrees for 11 days straight And you can't leave the home where you get raped unless it's to go to school with no food and no shoes, or go hang at the squat and sniff glue until your heart stills and all the screaming and the fear and the pain is killed. I hear arguments about giving the land back and equal employment opportunities that they lack. But do they even know who they are? Do any of us know who they are? Them blacks, them dull bludgeoning black drunks, as you put it. Or do you mean my other family that never stood a chance? Do you mean my brothers and sisters whose land was never ceded and always stolen? Anyone could have gone through what they went through. Anyone who went through what they went through would never have stood a chance. And I mean me. I mean you. I mean anyone watching this can't even imagine the shit that they have been through. So this poem is for you, children of the Yappaweppae, children of the Calcadoon Nation, and the beautiful people of those lands. I thank you so much for inviting me into your home, into your heart, and into your lives. And I will never, ever forget you. I'm AndyLe'Crumpet. That was a poem by Andrew Spencer called Poetry for the AndyLe'Crumpet. And this is Raised Dink Press. Catch you next time. Peace. Be good to each other. Remember, it's easy to hate. So take the hard road and love.